My name is Viliami Lolohea from Tonga. I am currently a diplomat at the Tongan High Commission in London. Kingdom of Tonga is the last remaining kingdom in the Pacific. We like to say we've never been colonized. There are about 170 islands. The most northern island lies 500 kilometers off the main island, Tongatapu in the south. We've got around 105,000 people. We've got a large community in New Zealand, Australia, and in the United States. Tonga Islands are Christian islands. Many people have left those islands to seek better opportunities on the main island Tonga in Nuku'alofa, but also they managed to emigrate for a better life, to provide a better education for their children. Tonga was coined by Captain Cook in the 18th century as the Friendly Islands, and so we have kept that name, Kingdom of Tonga, the Friendly Islands. We've got strong traditions and cultures, and people are very religious, and we've got many churches all over the kingdom. What we've seen here over the kingdom is that a lot of the houses are not maintained, they are dilapidated. And people living in those homes have not enough money to rebuild or to renovate. Getting a loan from the bank is very difficult. And when we look at the process of building new homes, we saw that they face a lot of difficulties. I was at APCSS in 2016, ASC 16-2. It was a very interesting course, eye-opener for me. I really wanted to make my time there useful and to show that you can go back and do something for your country. I think one of the last presentations we saw was Dr. Laurie Foreman's presentation.
So in 2016, I was giving the lecture on economics and security, and in that I defined economics as the science of scarcity and choice. And one of the examples I used for scarcity was this issue of sand, because apart from air and water, sand is the commodity most consumed by human beings. And it may seem unusual until you think about concrete for buildings and glass for windows, and of course that also means it's in computer chips and so on and so forth. The scarcity in sand has led to all sorts of transnational crime issues. There are sand mafias. People have died over this. And so this was the example I raised during the presentation. And at the end of it, Viliami came up to me and said, "I found my project." One of the nice things is that he realized you can't just ban sand mining. Tonga, after all, needs critical infrastructure just like every other country. And he was fortunate enough to find an alternative in his research that is this ferronickel slag. It's a byproduct of nickel mining. We went down to Tonga to see the project several years later and where he was progressing. I mean, this is too good to be true, right? So this is how it starts?
Yes, so this one I just brought it from New Caledonia, ferronickel slag. And then from there they crush it, and then you got these different sizes.
So talk a little bit about the ways you can use this project. You can use it for a house like this beautiful house, but can you also use it in things like rural roads or ports or other infrastructure?
They've been making roads in New Caledonia with the ferronickel slag, reclaiming land, so around 20% of Numea, the capital, is reclaimed with the ferronickel slag. And we can think of wharves, of airports, sea walls, bridges. We put some funds together to import 40 tons of ferronickel slag. And so when we imported it, we partnered with a local block manufacturer and we tested the different amounts of ferronickel slag with cement. So normal bricks that you get in Tonga, we suspect they have a strength of 8 MPa, that's the strength of the blocks. And ours, when we tested it, we got various MPAs from 12, 14, 18, 22. And so it's way over the expectations. So I think we are on a good track to make this product accessible and affordable to the population.
So I have to ask you about these photographs here. Who's in the photograph and what the occasion is?
Yes, right from the beginning, the king was the first supporter of this project because His Majesty understood that this was something needed for the development of Tonga, for critical infrastructure. When we started building the homes, I invited their Majesties to come and look at the different types of blocks we can and also the slag. So I can't remember of any other time, but he came to a private home, so his royal guard had to come first and plant the king's flag. Yeah, it was a proud moment. That was a royal command, and I think that's one of the reasons I'm still excited about this project, is to have the support of His Majesty. So yes. So when we designed the house, we wanted to make sure that we understood what we were designing. If we wanted to call it the perfect Tongan home. So the first thing we went to are the women. I asked my sisters and my aunties, like, what's the first thing you would want in the house? And she said, I want space so I can do my weaving. And so when we asked the men, they said, we want space to drink our kava. And that's why for us it's important to incorporate a big veranda to enable the mat weaving and the kava drinking at night. So that's so important in the lives of Tongan families. We are on the island of Eua, that's north of the main island, Tongatapu. We came here to work on a project that we proposed to the king, His Majesty King Tupou VI. The king was very pleased with it. Our thought is to build a water infrastructure, bottling plant, for the people to access that water for free, for low cost. All these critical infrastructure projects are linked to the ferronickel slag or the SLAN project with Numea because that's the basis for the construction. It's part of the whole philosophy to find the best solutions at low cost for the country, for the kingdom. And one of those solutions is water security. Mostly on Eua Island and all the other outer islands, Wava'u Islands, the Hapai Islands, people live off the land. They've got their own plantations, their own domestic animals. Of course, there are projects developed by the government. Each village has its own water. If there is no electricity, the pump stops and people don't get their water. And they have a lot of problems, many generations of getting access to water. So lately they have installed this infrastructure, but there is always a problem with the pump. And as you've seen, there's been some reparations done, but they are not professional and they don't last. And there is a good reservoir of water underneath the island of Eua. And so we've got to get to the water source at the base of the cliff. And we can't take the normal route because there's been rain for many weeks and it's all wet and muddy. And so we are going to take the shorter one, and that's climbing down the cliff. So we've got a guide with us. He's the town officer of the village of Houma. And of course, with us I've got Archibald Kisling, an expert on water, and his partner as well, Laurent from Vanuatu. And also Semisi, who's been working for me on this project for a couple of years now. There's the water we're after from there. Now, if we develop a bottling plant, then we have that water that we can distribute or can ship it to other islands. When I drew up the Pyramidal Slag project, I instantly knew that what is good for Tonga is good for the neighboring islands. Before you talk about building infrastructure, you have to have that key ingredient already in country and not rely on bringing it when you have a project. It's a cost for taxpayers, for the donors, but it's also costly for the people implementing the job. The small island developing states have to stockpile. Where can we apply this project? And I looked around the Pacific and I saw Vanuatu, Tuvalu, Kiribati, and also I came around to the island of Banaba. It was called Ocean Island. After the independence, it was called Banaba. And they are also a semi-autonomous island. So the landowners decide for the development of their own land. So Banaba has a unique story in the world. The story of Banaba is unique. It's an island made of phosphate. There is a movie titled Go Tell It to the Judge.
This is the story of a people called the Barnabans.
My lord, the plaintiffs were born on Ocean Island, a very small island just south of the equator.
But it tells the story of how they were exploited with the mining. 20 plus million tons of phosphate was taken from that island. There was no plan to rehabilitate the island and it became unlivable. And so they had to relocate to Rambi Island. 80 years have passed by, and 80 years that they feel that is 80 years of injustice.
Why is the comfort request that you made to transit factories that was secured?
2022, I visited the landowners of Banaba who are living on Rambi to propose to rehabilitate the island using the ferronickel slag from New Caledonia. And so when they heard that we could plug those areas, holes made by the miners, and with the ferronickel slag we can make blocks, easily rebuild their homes. They received me like a big chief. But I'm not a chief, I'm the king's messenger. And so I had to keep it at the level. But they offered me the best food in the island and took me around. And you could see, you touch the heart of the people, because now they can reconnect with the homeland. The Republic of Vanuatu is part of Melanesia. It's situated near the Fiji Islands and New Caledonia. They have been independent since 1980. People are very friendly. You see a lot of tourists come here for holidays. You see a lot of resorts are being built. They have just gone through a devastating earthquake. So there is rebuilding going on. So we were looking at firstly to promote the concept of stockpiling, which is a new concept. Tonga has been using a lot of sand for construction, so much that it has created erosion in coastal areas, and that brings livelihoods of communities at risk. But also it's degrading the marine ecosystem. And so sand has become rare, but also the price of it is out of reach for the general population and especially the most disadvantaged communities. And we want to stockpile for long-term stability and also for economic development. So when we look at Vanuatu, it's also the same issues that they have, a lack of quality aggregate for construction. Ferrari is on the northeast coast of Efate. It was used as a mining site in the 50s, 60s, 70s. They used to mine manganese. It was an operation that went 24 hours, and it created an economy, created a small town. Different people from different islands in the Pacific came together. It's convenient if we are to stockpile. Of course, we will need to rebuild the wharf. It's interesting for us for the stockpiling project. We got this as a water source here. We just happen to have a water expert with us, just like that, on a rainy day. We are going to use this and also all the areas here, potentially reopening the mining of manganese. This time we'll have a structure whereby we'll put the rights of the communities up front, and we'll have to find the right people to work with. Surely. Make some adjustment to the stockpiling area, but it's there already. So Maurice Kaloran is from Vanuatu. Maurice has worked for many years in the government, but he is my contact, he's my coordinator for this project in Vanuatu, and he has been very helpful. We were in Ferrari also to speak with the landowners because they are the key to this project. It was surprising to know that the landowner of Ferrari mining site did his secondary school in Tonga, at the same school where I was. And so there was a strong bond that was just, bonus. He had a lot of proposals in the past that never came to fruition. And we came with a proposal that looks at the well-being of the community, the landowner, the government, and the people of Vanuatu. And I think that the landowner understood that very well. He was very excited of the idea. We are waiting for a flight to the island of Eromango, south of Efate, this island. We are going to Eromango because we have connected with the landowners. And the first thing they said to me was they've been waiting 44 years for the government to build roads. And when they heard about this project, like a few weeks ago, they wanted to make sure to catch up with me. With this land, we can build roads in Eromango. So we need to develop this concept, and that's why one of the steps was to go directly to the landowners in Eromango, to meet with them, to hear their concerns, and to see whether they can trust us. Our project is to approach them with respect. I give them the opportunity to say yes or no as they feel it, as they want. They're dying to see roads be built so they can connect with other villages, but also they can access their lands. We went to the water to look at the port, because if you're talking about bringing in equipment, so you need to have a good wharf. That's something that we'll have to bring into our project concept. When we look at Eromango, they had nothing. They just made their own blocks manually. I think they had some issues with mixing sand and cement and water. The sand that they used to make blocks for the small school and for the very few houses there was sand taken from their own beach. You know the strength of the brick? 8 MBA, 6 MBA. So
I can tell you.
Okay. And so bringing this concept of accessing the ferronickel slag in Numea, in New Caledonia, will definitely help with building resilient buildings, but also affordable, and at the same time help protect the coastal environment. And we had some traditional welcome according to their customs. That was very important for us as the first step. The chiefs, they all approved our proposal, our project. They are looking forward to it. The chief of the area, he offered to us a stockpiling area. He gave us any time we want, because this is not an easy project. It could take up to 5 years or 10 years. So he gave us the whole time we needed. You respect the people, you respect the land. It's a project that I devised when I was at APCSS. It's an unusual project. It's very new for Tonga and for the Pacific. And in so it was very difficult to frame the cost of doing this project. So I had to use my own funds to push it, knowing that at some point it becomes a project of national interest. But it turned out quickly that the king was very interested. It's a royal command, and I know what I have to do. And at any cost, I will push on with this project.
It's been a journey for him in terms of the things he's had to learn, the connections he's had to make. This transcends government. It involves private sector, it involves communities and individuals. And so it's been a very complex project. But he has not let up on this, and he has been pursuing this for almost 10 years now. And we were able to see firsthand in Tonga where this can go and what the potential is. And I'm so honored to be able to award Viliami the Alumni of the Year Award for 2023. And we were fortunate to do that at a reception in Tonga, in the presence of, and presented by, actually, the Crown Prince himself. I'm really proud that APCSS had a role to play in inspiring this project, and really, really proud in Viliami for what he's done so far and for what I know he's going to do in the future.
We are looking forward to results. It requires a lot of travels to these countries, a lot of negotiations, a lot of presentations. Yes, it's been challenging and it's costing quite a bit, but that's what we do for king and country.
Matani ang ifakasaute, katimia amahina fekite, teu anga lotofale, engihia he ofa mamae, tepe toriki silotanie. Ich war power,